I'd like to give you a few tips on the 507 system, and one of them is about valve extensions. They have the braided extensions and solid extensions. Some of the braided extensions are what they call airless extensions. You do not want to use airless extensions with our system because there is not a constant volume of air in that extension, and so it will not hit our sensor and activate it. Our sensors have a pressure switch in them and need air to activate the sensor. So if you do have an airless extension, you can actually work around that issue by getting a flow-through system, putting the actual sensor on the valve stem that's sticking out of your wheel, and then the extension goes on the end of our sensor. And then you can bring that out and mount it onto your hub. So that is one way that you can get around the airless extension, but typically you want to have normal extensions. On the 507 flow-through sensor, like I have in my hand, there is a little screw going into a brass piece. The brass piece is what screws onto your valve stem. There are two holes in that brass piece. You do not have to put a screw in each of those holes. There are two holes because sometimes when you're screwing on the flow-through sensor, you won't be able to get to one of the screw holes with the Allen screw and the Allen wrench. So what you have to do then is take it out of that particular hole, put it in the other hole, and then when you tighten it on, you'll be able to reach it with the Allen wrench. So that's why there's two holes. You do not have to put screws in each of those holes. That's why we typically provide you with one screw per sensor, and then we give you some extra screws in a little bag. Also within the kits, there are stickers, and they're labeled 1 through 14, and then there's also a section that has T1, T2, etc., etc. The T is normally the trailer, and the other is normally the vehicle that's towing the trailer. So please use these stickers to put them on the top of each of the sensors so that you can identify where that sensor position goes. And you'd want to write those down in your manual so you know that number 1 is on your right front, number 2 is on your left front, etc., etc. And also with the trailer, it makes it a lot easier if you take the sensors off and store them, and then you want to put it back on, you'll have them all marked, and you'll be able to know exactly what tire position those sensors go to. If your monitor begins to beep as you're driving down the road, then you are out of the parameters you set for either the high pressure, the low pressure, or the temperature on your system. I would suggest that you pull over, check your tires, and find out what the issue is. For the 507 system, we also have a repeater. What the repeater does is it strengthens the signal from the sensors forward to the monitor, so you'll get a stronger signal and a more reliable signal. If you have something that's over 36 foot in length, we recommend a repeater. We also recommend a repeater for most fifth wheels, and if you have an Airstream trailer, because of all the metal, a repeater is essential. Another tip for the 507 cap sensor, if you need to have a smaller diameter sensor for any reason, say you're putting it on a motorcycle, for example, there are 3 screws at the bottom that you can take out of this cap sensor. It will separate the bottom of the cap from the top of the cap. Inside, you will then see another complete cap that is actually sealed. This outer cap is just for the anti-theft device, so you will lose the ability to have the anti-theft device, but it will actually decrease the diameter of this sensor quite a bit. And you could actually take that off and run these without the outer cap, just the inner cap. So that's another thought if you need to have it in a tighter space. When you're putting the sensors onto your valve stem, how tight do you put them on? Do you crank them down? Do you leave them a little bit loose? Well, the best thing to do is to actually put them on hand tight and then make sure they're snug. Give them a little extra twist to make sure they're snug on that valve stem. And because they do have a gasket in here, that rubber gasket will push against the top lip of the valve stem and it'll hold it in place. You don't have to turn these on really tight because that could ruin the sensor. From all of us here at TST, Truck System Technologies, we hope you enjoyed this video and it helped you to set up your 507 system. If you need additional information, you can give us a call at 770-889-9102 or go to our website at www.tsttruck.com. That's TSTTRUCK.com.